Karrion Kross just exposed WWE and Triple H for who they really are. He just went on Ariel Helwani and exposed Triple H and WWE for who they really are. I'm going to go through everything that he said. Well, not everything. The main points of what he said, what he went through, the main discussion points. We're going to start straight away. He said that they offered him a contract. They offered him a contract that didn't involve Scarlet, his real life wife and his on-screen wife. They offered him a contract that they knew he was not going to sign. They offered him a contract that they knew he wasn't going to sign, but they can sit back and say, well, we offered him a contract. No one can complain. No one can say we're evil. No one can say, oh, we didn't offer him a contract. How dare us? How dare WWE not offer him a contract? They can sit back and say, well, we did. We did offer him one. But they've been very sneaky with it. They offered him one that they knew he was never going to sign. They offered him a contract that he had 24 hours to accept, or it was off the table, 24 hours to accept a contract that didn't involve his real life wife. His on-screen wife as well. If you see Karrion Kross, you see Scarlet. If you see Scarlet, you see Karrion Kross. They are a package. You don't have one without the other. And they are a real life couple. They knew he wasn't going to accept that. They knew that he wasn't going to accept it without a guarantee that he was going to have his wife with him. Of course he wasn't going to accept that. He was never going to. And they knew that. They also gave him... He asked for the info on how they came to the valuation that they gave in his contract. Refused. They didn't give a reason and info on how they came to that valuation. And they gave him 24 hours to accept, or it was off of the table. They knew he was never going to sign that contract. Because who would? Would you sign a contract if it was uncertain whether they would sign your wife as well? They said, oh, we'll sign you, but we'll deal with her later. So why would Karrion Kross sign that with the uncertainty whether they were going to get his wife or not? Of course he wasn't going to, and they knew that. Now they can sit back and say, well, we offered him a contract. You can't blame us. We offered him one. They know exactly what they are doing. They know exactly what they're doing. They knew he wouldn't sign that. They knew he wouldn't sign that. Now the big discussion, is it all a work? Is it all a work? I don't think it is. If it is, what do you think they're going to do with him? Look what they did with R-Truth. They gave you R-Truth, right? Only because they had to. They didn't really want to give you R-Truth. They did it because they had to. Now look at what they're doing with him. They've done nothing with him since they brought him back, and now he's already back to the comedy. They brought him back because they had to. If this entire thing is a work, which I really, really doubt, they'll make you think you've got him, but then they won't give him anything. He also said in this interview that they put a person in between him and Triple H to communicate with. Now, the main thing that people say when asked to compare Triple H and Vince McMahon, people that have worked under both, the main thing that they say about Triple H and the reason he's better than Vince and the main positive and the thing that's gotten the most improved is that it's better for communication. Right now they have a way to communicate with the person in charge, Triple H. They didn't have that before with Vince. Now Karrion Kross has just gone and said, no, actually, they put a person in between us, so I couldn't directly communicate with Triple H. Triple H knew I wanted to talk. He knew what I wanted. He literally said this. He literally said Triple H knew I wanted to talk. He knew what I wanted. But they put a person in between us to communicate to. Do you think Triple H didn't have anything to say in that? Do you think that was a TKO decision? Of course not. Triple H probably said, yeah, put a person in between us. I don't want to deal with that. Let me keep dealing with Jey Uso. Let me keep dealing with Rhea Ripley. Right? Triple H doesn't want to talk to Karrion Kross because he knows Karrion Kross isn't going to pussyfoot around him and be nice to him and say, oh, I'm a Triple H guy, I'm all of this, I'm this, you're the greatest person ever, you're the greatest person to ever run this company, you're this, the that. Karrion Kross ain't going to do that. He's going to say exactly what he wants, and Triple H doesn't want that. Triple H doesn't want to be called out. That's why LA Knight doesn't get a push. Because LA Knight is not a Triple H guy. Neither is Karrion Kross. What a coincidence. Yeah, sure, Triple H. They put a person in between them. So you cannot communicate with Triple H unless he likes you. Right? You start calling out your booking. Suddenly, you can't communicate with the person in charge. You suddenly have a problem with your booking, the person in charge, the company you work for. Suddenly you have a problem with them for all correct reasons, rightfully so. And now suddenly you cannot communicate with Triple H. If you're a Triple H guy, if your name's Gunther and you say, oh, yeah, I'm a Triple H guy. Well, I don't know why he's a Triple H guy. He books you awfully. I'm sure Rhea Ripley can text. I mean, Logan Paul has literally said, I text Triple H. No, he texted him. Logan Paul literally said that Triple H texted him. He texted him a picture of, I don't know, a image of a match. Right? A funny little picture. Triple H sending it to Logan Paul. Oh, look at this little funny picture I found online. Yeah, I'll send this to Logan Paul. Karrion Kross has a problem with me and wants to renew his contract and talk about his position in this company that affects his life, his family, his wife, his career. Nah. No. I don't have time for that. Put a person in between us to communicate with. Oh, look at this picture I just found. I'll just send that to Logan Paul. That is the person that is running this place. That is the person in charge. That is the person that is in charge of giving you what you want. You want Carmelo Hayes? This is the person that's running it. This is the person that decides whether to give you Carmelo Hayes or not. You want Karrion Kross? Just gone over it. You want LA Knight? Triple H is that petty. He doesn't have the nickname Petty Paul for no reason. He's not hated by ex-professional wrestlers that worked with him for no reason. It's not a coincidence. He is that petty, he goes out his way to not give you what you want. You want something, he'll make you think you've got it, but not really. He'll go out his way to not give it to you. That's how petty this guy is. This guy is in charge of giving us $30 a month product from next year. $30 a month you're going to have to pay if you're in America. And the person giving you the product that you're paying all of this money for, or thousands if you go to the show, the person in charge of giving you the product that you are consuming is going out his way to not give you what you want. R-Truth, LA Knight, Karrion Kross, Carmelo Hayes, all together, combined, have less screen time in the past 3 months, let's say, than MFT in the past 2 weeks. I would probably say, right? Is that safe to say? Maybe a slight exaggeration, but not much. How much screen time does MFT get? Does anyone care? No. Do they get a reaction when they come out? No. Do they get chants? No. Do they get boos? Kinda. Do they get cheers? No. Is anyone interested in what they're doing? No. They get so much screen time. Karrion Kross, LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes, R-Truth? No. We're not going to give you them. We're going to keep shoving MFT down your throat. I don't care if you're not interested in them. You pay $30 a month to get something that you don't want to see. What you do want to see, nah, you're not going to get to. We'll release them, actually. That is the person in charge of this company. Not in charge of the company, but in charge of giving you the product that you're paying all of this money for. And the amount of time that you give to this company. 2 hours, 2.5 hours. How many hours for a PLE? This is the person in charge of giving you that product. He will not give you what you want. He will go out his way to not give you what you want. And he's not going to communicate. The WWE have been silent on this entire situation. This entire Karrion Kross situation. Nothing. Silent. Do you know why? Do you know why they're not saying anything about Naomi? Because they care about WWE Unreal more than anything. They want the questions, right? They don't want to be transparent. They don't want to be transparent with their own wrestlers, their own locker room. The wrestlers don't even know what's happening with Naomi or Karrion Kross. They're doing that on purpose, so you watch WWE Unreal. They're taking away the transparency, the communication, the honesty, just being a proper company, just so you're a bit more interested in WWE Unreal to see what's real and what's not real, because that's the new kayfabe. That's what they care about in 2025. They don't care about Karrion Kross. They care about what's more interesting for WWE Unreal. It's all about the money. It's all about the social media clicks, right? Everyone talking about them. But it's not in a good way, is it? That's WWE in 2025. That is WWE in 2025. And we're all going to have to get used to it, because this is not going to stop. It's going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. The entire Seth Rollins thing was probably for WWE Unreal. It's a joke. I'm glad Karrion Kross has just exposed them. Hopefully more continue to do so.